Hello viewers, welcome back to an extra episode. We've not done one of these for a little while, and you're here. I know now that we've just played an episode there. I can't remember, episode 56 maybe. If you've not watched these episodes before, these are uncut. These are just continual me talking. We play a game, we talk about a few other bits, maybe what I'm thinking tactically at the time, and yeah, less produced, I guess is the word I would say. So let's take a look through our recent form then. Of course, if you've just watched, you will be familiar to all of this, but at the same time, I do want to go through it and talk about it. There's a theme developing that we play well in a couple of games. We have a spell where we don't play so well, then a high point, then lots of low points, then a little bit of a high point, and now a low point. And I think we're coming into another low point, which hopefully will end in a high point. I mean, that is how football seasons generally work, though. There's not much to that, really. The question is, tactically, though, what are we going to do about it to try and fix it? Are we too open in the middle? Are we just being unlucky? Now, that's the question that I think people... We don't really talk about it very much in the videos because it's very difficult to explain without sort of a 3-minute explanation. But I do think there are some occasions in games that we play, especially in the recent games we've played against the likes of Hemel whereas if I bring out the stats in this sort of situation, you can see that largely, if I showed that to someone, they'd say, oh, you've probably won that 1-0 or you've had a decent game. But actually what's happening is these teams that have been around for a little bit longer in these divisions and are more used to it seem to be capable of pulling out goals when they need to. And the reason I think that's most probably the case is that we did it. Like in last season, that was something we were able to do. There was times last year when ordinarily we weren't necessarily playing the best football, but you still scrape yourself a goal, you still scrape yourself a 1-0 lead or a 2-0 win or a 2-1 win. And over the course of a season, those points really matter. And when you're not getting them, it can be quite demoralising. It is essentially the form of a side that are probably going to be in a relegation battle, which I think most people this season expected. I mean, if you look again at the season preview, you can see down there, 21st is our prediction. I think in terms of budgets and stuff, actually, do you know what? This is the sort of stuff you get to see normally. Salary per annual. So the annual salary we pay 97,000. Team Solent don't pay anything, which suggests their whole team are on amateur contracts. I am interested. Yeah, that's mad. They're all on amateur contracts. You would think then that players like Jack Dunn, who I think former Liverpool players actually, would be able to just be snapped up. But apparently Team Solent is such a big draw that why would they ever want to leave? They've got like quite a good side there, which is bizarre, honestly. So it's going to be interesting to see how we do with the budgets we've got. I think finishing sort of between 14th and 18th this season is probably quite likely. I totally get that for people that want to watch sort of progressive series, that it's not particularly entertaining, but at the same time, you kind of, as I've proved with the previous seasons, you've got to have these years so that when you do start to do better and you start to win things, it means that little bit more. So it's a more realistic journey this year. I've never done a journey which has been quite like this. I think the closest we come actually, like Salford was relatively quick, but because of their reputation, it was a lot easier to attract players. But Parma probably, it took quite a long time, but eventually we established ourselves as a good side and then pushed ourselves further up the table as we went along. That is probably the most realistic save we've had up until this one, which is the most realistic I think we've had. Like, to do this is unusual. To do it, this is very difficult, and I guess we're going to have to see throughout the sort of next few seasons how we get on. People were terrified we would have been stuck in that last division. I mean, the irony would be now that we get relegated and we go back into that division, spend another 3 years there, so that'd be good. Hopefully not. I think we seem to be slightly better than a couple of the sides in the division, so that shouldn't matter too much. Today then, we're going to play Eastbourne Borough, and that is in a couple of days. But I do want to talk about things tactically. What we'll do, though, is we'll go forward, and then just before the game, we shall talk about it. They're 14th. Oh, for God's sake, I've got auto-saves on. What a time to do it. I think this happened last time we did an extra episode. Anyway, lock that in, then. Why don't you? I mean, lock in last episode, by all means. An enjoyable one. Those that I mean, I guess this is like a private club, these extra episodes, which people seem to quite like, the fact that we've got sort of a behind-the-scenes element going on. But, I mean, it might be obvious, right? But last episode, that is among the worst kind of episodes to record, sorry. Probably, maybe to watch as well, I'm not sure. I mean, the Danan chance at the end gave us a little bit of light relief, but those are the worst ones because you know playing it. Like, I've selected these 2 games. I don't want to have to, like, stop, not record those, then do some extra ones, which just might be more entertaining. Like, they're the games I pick. That's always been the case. And actually, that's a good point. People might wonder that. I have never recorded an episode. It's been so rubbish that I've thought, actually, scrap that, we'll do another one. I don't think that's ever happened. I always go with the games that I'm given. And to be fair, I can't remember the last time I played 2 games that were just 2 really basic 1-0 wins, 1-0 defeats, sorry, with not much going on. So, I mean, unique. So you always get a unique element with the videos, don't you? Sort of, in a way. Right then, let's see. Easy win predicted for Eastbourne Borough. That's always confidence building, isn't it? But that's been the case for a lot of these. So I guess we'll see. We're away from home. They're actually, I was going to say they're not heavy favourites. They are heavy favourites, so this is going to be another tough one. This could be 3 defeats on the bounce as well, so that is a bit of a problem for me. But then, every now and then, we have a moment of genius. Like the Canavan goal against Oxford City, the free kick that you saw at the start of the episode today. Like that was a real highlight, because it's just like, oh, thank goodness. The first draw as well, to get it back. I remember watching it at the time I'm not recording it, but at the time of playing it, and being like, right then, if he scores this, I'm going to do a little shout, and it goes in. And I didn't shout, it was just sort of a, that doesn't happen very often. It was just sort of the relief of, oh, we can draw games this season, excellent. I'm going to predict now that this is a draw. I've got a weird feeling, but we'll see. Right, tactically, let's talk then, because so far, we've not really talked too much about what's going on with this. Now, the plan sort of came from last season, when we used to get overrun in midfield all the time. It seemed to be the case that we were playing the 2 up top, remember, 2 out wide and 2 in the middle. Now, that is a system that I have really considered going back to. I think our midfield 2 now are so strong that it's maybe worth playing it. The problem is, because Foster is so much more offensive than the other players, I'm like, in reality, what I should probably start doing is training him to play in this more advanced area. In fact, I don't think I'm going to wait any more on that, because I quite like him in the centre, but I think I am going to try and train him in this attacking midfield role. I don't necessarily think he should be a playmaker. His vision isn't that good. I mean, his first touch is quite good. You see there's certain aspects of his game that aren't fantastic. Good leadership though, decision making is very good, passing of course is excellent, first touch is excellent, physically he's pretty good as well, his agility is not even that bad. So I think as an attacking midfielder in that role, that's perhaps where he should play, and we could even trial it like straight away and see what he does in that support role, and then we keep Scott and Hallahan in the centre and play this more traditional 4-2-3-1 system. The other question mark I've got, and I didn't really talk about this last episode, but Des Wilson is potentially one of our better midfielders. Now, we've got a bit of a question mark. Do I put in someone who's quite well-rounded from Burton in Des Wilson, or do you go for Scott, who is a little more defensive-minded? I think the more I look at it, the more I think I want to try Wilson in the centre and see how he does as a support player in the centre. Hallahan can stay as that defensive rock. Hallahan's pass completion, I think, is superior to everybody else's. You can see there. Well, actually, Des Wilson's is 100% from a substitute appearance, but yeah, 85%. In terms of central midfielders, you're looking at Brett Squires, who hasn't played that much football, and then Steve Foster at 77%. That's quite a way off 85%. So I think keeping Hallahan in there is an absolute must. He's the most well-rounded player we have. But let's try this as an experiment. I do think that Foster is a better player than Liam Canavan. Of course, now though, that seems like a straight swap. If we want to switch it around a little bit, we can do. Defensively, it's a frustration for me really, because I think Liam Johnson could probably do quite a good job at the back. Although every player seems to be right-footed only. Wayne Atkinson is he's probably a better defender than George Heaven, but hasn't had a particularly good year. You've got decent marking and tackling stats, but I don't think as well-rounded, maybe. I mean, we'll keep it as it is, and we can make changes if we need to. A few disappointed players, probably. Brandon Harris, who obviously featured a little bit for me last year, isn't going to play as much. Brett Squires is the big one for me, that I think you look at that and you realise he's not quite as well-rounded as some of our current midfielders. And because in this, I hate this actually, in the Vanarama League South, I don't know if it's the same in the National, you can only have 5 subs, so it really does limit your options from the bench. That is a bit of an irritant to me. But you can see there, Hemmings has got 6 goals this year, Danana's got 9, so without any further ado, let's get involved. We'll stay standard flexible, although I do think there's a argument to say that we should maybe play control in this style. It's how these 3 players interact, and obviously we're playing Foster. We've not really changed too much. I mean, in terms of shape, not much has changed. I suspect Wilson and Hallahan will now play slightly closer together, which is what you want, but then Foster is now really going to be there, trying to support Danan, trying to get the ball to Clark Slocum and Hemmings. And I guess we'll see how that works out. There's a temptation to try and exploit the flanks in this sort of system now and get the ball into our wide players. I think that might be part of the factors as to why we're not seeing as much from Clark Slocum. Last year we had 2 strikers and he was very much part of that attacking 4, whereas this year he's got to do a little bit more defensively as we play on the longest pitch of all time. Fantastic. So there is a temptation to do that as well. I mean, maybe we'll do that in the second half and we'll see if it makes any difference to the style in which we play. But Eastbourne Borough then, let's see. We're away from home. This is the sort of game, actually, that we've been pretty competitive in against the better sides. We always seem to do quite a good job, despite the pitch being lengthways, as the first highlight looks like it may well actually go our way. Wilson on the edge of the box. There's Wilson. Oh, saved by Just Ham, which is a great name. Just Ham. Do you want cheese with that, sir? No, just ham, please. Lovely. All right, enjoy your sandwich. As McDonald's gone forward, and that would have summed up my Thames experience. We get a chance, a highlight, maybe a shot on goal, and then the next highlight we see is essentially them scoring from the same highlight, which is always nice. As Hammer picks it up. I mean, what is he doing there? Just launching it. I mean, where's the direction on it? It's just there's no direction on it at all, is the point I'm making. If we go back and look at that quickly, when he gets the ball at right back, I don't know where he thinks he's aiming it to, especially with the power in which he puts into it. Here it comes. It drops to him there, and then bang! Like where it hits him, so it's going in that line there. It's not going anywhere. It's just hit and hope, and that's not the instruction at all. Short passing, mate. I realise we've seen this, and I'm making you watch it again. Right. So far, everything's going quite well. No one's having a complete shocker. And again, we build from that side. Another throw. Wilson's on it into Foster. Just don't lose it in these areas. Again, Wilson's gone for it. Wilson's low on a long shot at the moment. 2 chances he's had so far. Neither of which have found the goal, though. But that's nice, though. I don't mind them having a shot from distance. It doesn't look like he's got that much power behind them, though. But he's going for it. I quite like the fact he's going for it, as the next highlight comes their way. Topley out wide, and we're not really very close to him at all, and the ball to the front post is headed in, and it all happened very, very quickly, didn't it, really? I'm not too sure why that is. We've not seen too much from Clark Slocum or Hemmings, and that's sort of playing into the idea that I think we should maybe use our wide players slightly smarter. The ball out to Marshall is so easy, and the cross put in is so easy, and he's unmarked essentially at the front post when he has the ball put in. So we'll see what happens. We'll get to half-time. We won't change things too much. I mean, there's an argument to say that we could be 2-0 down, which will make things a lot worse. But it's hard. I mean, on this sort of pitch as well, it's a lot harder to exploit the flanks as they're through again. McDonald again with a goal, and God damn it. Okay, we'll get stuck in less. We'll close down a little bit more, and we'll start exploiting the flanks. Don't work it into the box, Ben. It's not working. It's just not. Like, how often do you see us actually pass the ball into the box? The 2 times, like I think that's what's infuriating sometimes with FM. Is that I've got a shorter passing on, we're playing that sort of style, and we've got to work the ball into the box on. And what we've seen is Des Wilson have 2 shots from like 25 yards. It's like, well, that's not what we need to do. Now, that equally could be down to the fact that Liam Danan isn't the most mobile of strikers. Unless the ball's put in behind, rarely do I see him make those sort of like incisive runs. But I guess we'll see. I was going to wait until half-time to make some switches, but yeah, we're going to see now then if we can get our wider players more involved. As Banda goes back, and there's where Liam Danan's excellent. If you can finish it as well, that's what I mean. Just Ham puts it behind, and dearie me. Corner kick though, Clark Slocum. I know I say this all the time in videos now. It's become a bit of a meme, I think. But the amount of times you see something from a corner is so little that I've begun just not commenting. I mean, it's not new. It's been the case in all FMs. Like the amount of times I cut out corners in videos because literally nothing. Like the ball's put in, it's cleared, and that's the end. I'd rather not see it. FM. Honestly, I'd rather just not. I'm not bothered. Just don't let me see it. Well, we're 2-0 down. McDonald with it. You can see he's so well-rounded for this division. He's not got any like standout stats. Like his finishing's not incredible. His pace isn't incredible. But the amount of 9s, 8s and 10s he's got there is just... We haven't got a player like that. He's 90... Like, according to our scouts, he would be... I mean, that kind of tells you everything you need to know. And that's what we're up against this season. I think... While it's not fun to watch me lose games in a series, which I totally get, and I'm the same. Like I would... You see what happens? I do this all the time. I'm talking to you, and then the team talk is an absolute disgrace. And I'm going to try and turn it around a little bit. And somehow we did with some players. Hopefully our midfield and Danan do something. It's just like an autopilot. I do it on stream all the time as well, if you ever watch that. Like, it happens there too. I just autopilot into saying, that's a good performance, well done, when actually I should be bollocking them. The amount of times that happens in videos, and may well cost me points, actually, I don't really know, is ridiculous. And now, because of that, I've totally forgot the train of thought that I had a minute ago. So whatever that conversation was going to be, it's gone. Oh, no, I was talking about expectation. I don't like losing games on Football Manager. If I had it my way, every episode we would win a couple, but that's just not how it works. And the reality is I sit here and play these games, and more often than not, that would have been annoying. We tend not to win in this series, which It's as frustrating to play as it is to watch, I'm sure. Like, I know there's part of it that people really enjoy watching me get absolutely battered every single episode, because there's sort of some cruel, happy torture to that, which I do get as well. Watching people get it wrong or mess it up could be infuriating, but at the same time can be quite entertaining. That said, as much as I consider myself an entertaining YouTuber, I'm not doing it on purpose. I wish I was. I wish I had the ability to do it on purpose. But yeah, we're about half an hour to go here, and I don't want to say this hasn't really worked, but it's not looking great, is it? We're going to bring Canavan on. Foster's going off. I do wonder if the sort of the reliance that I'm putting on him and sort of the want and need for him to do well is maybe making him play not so well as Clark Slocum drives forward. Well, that's his first goal of the season. That's enjoyable. We've just made a switch as well. I think I'm still going to go through the switch despite the fact we've scored. I think we need to see more out of the midfield doing better, frankly. The balls that they played forward, I'll zoom out a little bit so you can see it happen. As Clark Slocum runs down there, you think there, logically, right? At that point there, just cut it back. I think every level of football you would say, guarantee the goal, cut it back. Clark Slocum's like, no, not scored this year, and just bangs it in. Their keeper doesn't really react. And who knows, maybe a little comeback. I'm still going to go through the tactical changes. We're keeping the ball. We're just not making the most of them. We wouldn't have taken Clark Slocum off anyway. We don't really have wide players. That's an issue as well. Like, because of the lack of substitutes. One, it seems daft to play a sub-keeper as Clark Slocum lofts one in. Referee, pen? It's a penalty. Right. Hemmings is going to take it. Apart from that one he missed in the video recently, he's actually pretty good from penalties. So I am quietly confident. There we are. Bangs it in. 2-2. What a comeback. Okay, good to see. Clark Slocum is dragging us through this game a little bit. Well, his ball wins the penalty, essentially, and he scores the goal. And then Hemmings puts it in that corner. That's why you might wonder how has Hemmings got so many goals, penalties. I think he's got like 4 now, maybe. As maybe with 10 minutes to go, this isn't quite over yet. Who knows? Clark Slocum on it again, shot on goal. It's deflected wide. Canavan, oh, we can't quite keep it in. Well, actually, Hammer does keep it in. Wilson, if he can slide it through, he does. Referee, Hemmings is there. Oh, what a comeback! Oh well, after the disappointment of last episode, I mean, if you've joined me for today, at least we've had a little bit of joy in our lives, you know. God damn it! At last, Hammer plays it into Wilson. Do you know what? That through ball is not meant for Hemmings, but Hemmings gets on it anyway. Worthington doesn't really make the run, and Hemmings puts it in the back of the net. Right, well, we've stayed standard flexible the whole time. We've not changed too much, really. Canavan's come on. I mean, we've taken Foster off, and now we're leading. And Danan's gone off as well. And suddenly we're a little bit more potent. 4 minutes of added time to go. I am going to shut the door and do no more. I think closing down more and not working into the box actually was quite successful. That might be something next episode you see, because it's worked so well right now. So I think going into my next few games, that's something we're definitely going to look at changing, and not trying to pick the holes in defences so much, and looking at it in a slightly more pragmatic way. As if they score now, Bailey goes forward. I mean, get rid of it properly, please. Hemmings, 5 seconds to go. It looks as if, what a comeback, what a turnaround. At 2-0, you're probably thinking, why have I bothered? There'll be people that will have clicked off, viewers. If you made it to the end, well done. What a good win for us that is, though. A 3-2 victory. People had written us off. You proved them wrong. And, yeah, delighted. We should do... Maybe all the episodes should just be these from now on. Forget doing, like, proper episodes. This is what we need. More of these. All right, lovely. Yeah, enjoyed that a lot. That was fun. We'll see where that leaves us in the table. I think we might have gone above Eastbourne Borough, actually, which will be good. The higher we can get away from the relegation zone, the less threat means the more we can experiment, really, and that's what I want to be able to do this season. Try a few different systems and tactics out and see what works best, and then we can see what we can add to and build quite a core. Like, I think if you can start with a good core, I think you're okay. I wish we had a better goalkeeper. Well, here we are. Clark Slocum praises Benji Team Talk. The half-time words that inspired them. See how bullshit this game is? I love it. Right then, before we go, let's make these tactical changes. And also, let's play Liam Canavan in that position, because I do think he's potentially slightly better. So close down a little bit more, getting stuck in less, working the ball into the box less, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, that's pretty much all we did, right? Oh no, we exploited the flanks more, of course. Right, that then is what we'll try for the next few games, and of course you now know, having seen this episode, the next episode, this is what we would have played for the foreseeable. I think I mentioned it in the episode today, but we'll meet again probably end of December, beginning of January sort of period, because we're not in the FA Cup. There's not much going on at the early part of the season. That went really, really well. And that's going to bring us to the end of the extra episode. If you enjoyed the more laid-back chat, do let me know in the comment section. If you want to see more of these, then of course I will do them. And that brings us to the end then. And we love with care from me. Until next time. I'll see you again soon. Goodbye. If you're a supporter on Patreon, subscribe to the videos, like the videos. Thank you so much for that support. I know I say it all the time, but I do massively appreciate it. Without you watching, it wouldn't be as fun to make. So goodbye, everyone. Goodbye.